Hello viewers, welcome to GoGo Motoring YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to answer the following question. Should you buy a high mileage BMW? Now, let's define what a high mileage BMW is for the purposes of this video. That's going to be any BMW that's more than 5 years old and has more than 50,000 miles on the clock. Now, 50,000 miles, not a lot of miles, but let's just set that as the bar. It's got to have more than 50,000 miles on the clock. So the question is, should you buy it? Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume that the people watching these videos are car enthusiasts, i.e. people that like cars, that care about driving dynamics, that find cars enjoyable, right? So that means that if you're a type of person who views a car as nothing more than an appliance that gets you from point A to point B, then you should probably stop watching this video right now. You should probably not watch my channel, right? If you're that type of person who just views a car as a way to get from point A to point B, I'll give you some really useful consumer advice right now. Go ahead and buy yourself a brand new Toyota Corolla or a brand new Toyota Camry and drive that car until it dies, right? And then when that car dies, go ahead and buy yourself a brand new Toyota Corolla and a Toyota Camry and go ahead and drive that car for the next 20 years, because those two cars are going to fulfill that objective perfectly. The objective of being an appliance that gets you from point A to point B, right? Now, so that's it for those guys and gals, right? Now, for the rest of us that actually care about driving dynamics and care about having a car that's fun to drive, let's talk about whether you should buy these cars, high mileage BMWs, or not. All right, so let's start answering the question of whether you should buy a high mileage BMW, okay? So the first question you need to ask yourself is, what is this car going to be used for, right? Is this going to be your primary mode of transportation? Is this going to be a fun car? What is the function of this car? Are you going to have another car that you can drive around if the need arises? Okay, so that's the first question you have to ask yourself, and that question really ties into your financial situation, right? Do you have enough money to pay for unexpected repairs that may come up, some of which may cost over $1,000, right? So my suggestion to those who are currently experiencing tough financial times or who might not have the finances to go ahead and spend over $1,000 on unexpected repairs to wait, right? Even though these cars are super fun to drive, nothing can ruin your driving enjoyment of a car if it becomes a financial burden, right? So if you're in high school, if you're in college where you don't have a steady stream of income, and even though you may work hard and save enough money to where you can purchase a high mileage BMW, you're probably going to be in a situation to where if an unexpected repair comes up, it's going to hurt financially. So for those folks, I would say wait a few years, save up some more money, be in a better financial position to where you can afford one of these cars. The other aspect of the finances too is if you're one of these people that has sufficient finances, but the cash flow might be tight, or it may be a situation where it's more important for you to know exactly how much money you're going to be spending each month, then again, having a high mileage BMW may not be an ideal choice, right? You may want to actually spend more money and buy a newer car that's going to be covered by warranty so that you have more predictability in terms of your monthly cash flows, right? So for those types of folks, in terms of finances, buying a high mileage BMW may not be the ideal choice, okay? The other group of people that probably shouldn't be buying a high mileage BMW are those people that like to keep up with the Joneses, right? If you're the type of person that lives to impress his or her neighbors, if you want to show up at the country club with the shiniest little toy, if you want to, if you think that having a shiny car is an actual projection of your success in life, which it may be, and that may be important to you, then you probably don't want to go ahead and purchase a high mileage BMW, because the car is not going to look as nice as a brand new car. Plus, it's probably going to be an older model, which again, if you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, hard to keep up with the Joneses when you have a BMW that's a couple of generations too old, right? So those types of people, you probably don't want to buy a high mileage BMW either, okay? Now, if none of these scenarios apply to you, right? So if you love driving, if you love cars, and in particular, if you like the way BMWs feel, and you have enough financial, you have enough finances to where if an unexpected repair comes up, it's not going to be a make it or break it day for you to go ahead and spend some money to get the car fixed, then I think absolutely you should buy a high mileage BMW. for several different reasons. Number one, you're going to save a ton of money in the process, okay? I mean, if you look at these cars now, you look at this E90 328i, you look at this E85 Z4 3.0i, right? These cars, when they were brand new, were $50,000 cars, okay? Okay, $40,000 to $50,000 cars, depends on what options they came equipped with, right? That's a lot of money. Now you can pick these cars up for less than $20,000 or even $10,000, okay? So that's that's a lot cheaper than what you would have had to buy, pay to get into one of these cars when they were brand new, okay? And here's the thing about cars, right? The car itself doesn't change regardless of how many miles it has. I mean, it needs to be in a good condition, but assuming it's a functional car, the car doesn't change, right? The car looks the same. The driving dynamics are the same, right? So if you're going to go ahead and, if it's worth it to you to spend $40,000 or $50,000 to pay for the way these cars look, the way these cars feel, the way these cars drive, then it's a heck of a deal when you can go ahead and pay $10,000 to get that experience, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. And not only that, but if you're not spending $50,000 each of these cars, but you're spending $10,000 or $15,000 each of these cars, then you could have more than one of these cars, right? And as a car enthusiast, I love having more than one car. And frankly, I would have a lot more cars if I had more garage space. And maybe that's what I'm going to work towards you on this channel, and you guys are going to be there to see it, okay? But it's very nice to have multiple cars. That way, you can drive a car that fits your mood on any given day. Sometimes, like, the weather's nice, if you want to go driving on the back roads, you get in the Z4, you drop the top, you have a ton of fun, going up and down the road. Or if it's more of a kind of a low-key day, like you don't want to do anything too crazy, you might want to be in a coupe. Now, the counter-argument to, the fact that you can buy these cars for a lot less when they have high miles and when they've been, they're 5 years old or so, is that, hey, you might have to spend all this money on repair costs. But even though a lot of people make that argument, if you think about it, most of the time that argument makes no sense, right? Because if you're able to save $30,000, $20,000, right, on the purchase price of a car, the chances of your having to spend $20,000 to $30,000 in maintenance costs as a result of the car having 50,000 miles or 75,000 miles and it being, more than 5 years old, that just doesn't make sense. Fact of the matter is that even though the car may have more than 50,000 miles and maybe a little bit older, yes, you're going to have to spend some money fixing it, but the cost of the repairs are going to be so much less than the depreciation hit you would take if you bought a brand new car and then sold it, a few years later. So keep that in mind. Now, it's also important to note that you do want to consider the type of, what BMW are you buying? Some models are more reliable than others. So, that does need to be taken into consideration as well. And also the quality of the car. You want to make sure that the car that you're purchasing is, has been taken care of. And to that end, it's critically important to, procure a pre-purchase inspection and go ahead and get all that, just making sure that you're buying the correct and a good example of that vehicle. Okay, guys, I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that if some of these parameters work for you, you would go and buy yourself a high mileage BMW. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel. There are going to be a lot more videos coming your way. Thanks for watching.